Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fictional Fracas YouTube channel. I'm Joe, and in this episode we're going to be doing a review of this book right here, Heretics of Dune by Frank Herbert. So stay tuned and thanks for joining me. Alright, first I'm going to read just a quick excerpt, just a few paragraphs from the first chapter. And I read right now. Most discipline is hidden discipline, designed not to liberate but to limit. Do not ask why. Be cautious with how. Why leads inexorably to paradox. How traps you in a universe of cause and effect. Both deny the infinite. That is from the Apocrypha of Fracas. It's right there. It's the wee little thing in front there. Right. Theresa told you, did she not, that we have gone through 11 of these Duncan, Idaho Golas. This one is the 12th. The old Reverend Mother Xuing spoke with deliberate bitterness as she looked down from the third-story parapet at the lone child playing on the enclosed lawn. The planet Gamu's bright midday sunlight bounced off the white courtyard walls, filling the area beneath them with brilliance as though a spotlight had been directed onto the young Gola. Gone through, the Reverend Mother Lucilla thought. She allowed herself a short nod, thinking how coldly impersonal were Xuing Yu's manner and choice of words. We have used up our supply, send us more. The child on the lawn appeared to be about 12 standard years of age, but appearance could be deceptive with a Gola not yet awakened to his original memories. The child took that moment to look up at the watchers above him. He was a sturdy figure with a direct gaze that focused intently from beneath a black cap of charcoal hair. The yellow sunlight of early spring cast a small shadow at his feet. His skin was darkly tanned, but a slight movement of his body shifted his blue single suit, revealing pale skin at the left shoulder. Not only are these Golas costly, but they are supremely dangerous to us, Xuing Yu said. Her voice came out flat and emotionless, all the more powerful because of that. It was the voice of a reverend mother instructor speaking down to an acolyte, and it emphasized for Lucilla that Xuing Yu was one of those who protested openly against the Gola project. Theresa had warned, she will try to win you over. As in, like trying to get you to not like the stuff. 11 failures are enough, Xuing Yu said. Lucilla glanced at Xuing Yu's wrinkled features, thinking suddenly, someday I may be old and wizened too, and perhaps I will be a power and the Bene Gesserit as well. Alright, that's just the very beginning of Heretics of Dune. So this is my review of this book in full. Heretics of Dune is the 5th entry into the epic Dune saga, and boy, this one was difficult to get into. Heretics takes place 1500 years or so after the events of God Emperor of Dune, and all the main characters are long dead, but they are not forgotten. The prophecies and prognostications of Leto II are still at the heart of everything that moves human activity. With the God Emperor's death, humanity lacked direction and took to exploring new parts of the universe. This is called the scattering. And from the splintered pieces come new and powerful factions that are returning to the old realms to take power away from those that have ruled since the tyrant's long plunge into the watery grave he accepted. The Bene Gesserit, Tleilaxu, Ix and Fish Speakers are all part of the old world and continue to compete for dominance over the most powerful resources, melange and information. Now that melange can be made synthetically by the Tleilaxu, the planet known as Dune Arrakis, and now simply known as Arrakis, the sandworms that create the original spice are not the only resource that is being fought over. It is still completely vital, but so is knowledge. How do the Tleilaxu make their version of melange? How do they create and manipulate their Gola clones? How does the new Duncan play into all this? Who controls the diary passed down by the God King Leto II, and what does it say about the future? And who is the young girl who can speak to and control sandworms? Sheena, a peasant girl whose entire family was killed by sandworms, can summon even the largest of sandworms, speak to them, and somehow hear their psychokinetic voices. She is the key to finding out if the tyrant is back and what that might mean for the interests pulling at the strings of human evolution. Is his golden path being fulfilled, or is mankind doomed? The Bene Gesserit are up to their usual witchcraft with the goal of protecting humanity from those groups that would suck humanity dry. Unfortunately, a group known as the Honored Maters has evolved more powerful forms of manipulation and control more forces than any other in the universe. They seek to wipe out the Bene Gesserit and anyone else that doesn't bend the knee to their form of tyranny. Luckily for the Bene Gesserit, that they have the most powerful descendants of the Atreides lineage among their ranks, and the power that those ancient genes have the potential to wield. This book was crazy complicated, and it was very difficult for me to get into it. It took almost half the book for my mind to start to grasp the new players, motivations, and all the connections to the previous books. Once these connections were made though, and the book became integrated into the Canon of Dune lore, it all clicked. And I was once again mesmerized by the genius of Frank Herbert. It is hard to tell at first who to root for and who really matters. The new Duncan Idaho is younger than any from the previous books and is something to grasp onto as a connection to the previous books, but soon takes a backseat to the new characters who weave their way into the Dune canon as characters that are just as powerful, terrifying, and heroic as any others in the series. If you are already into Dune to get this far in the series, then this book is worth the mind-bending trouble of nearly starting over in regards to the names and places that matter to the story. Once you get into it, the whole world is still there, just expanded from the previous. The influence of the actions of characters from day one of the series is still visible all the way into the future world of Heretics of Dune. Alright, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for joining me for this review of Heretics of Dune. It's a great book, they're all great. This one was one of the toughest ones to read because it just changes everything up, all the characters are different. But still worth it. And then next we're going to look at the last book, Chapter House Dune. Alright, thanks for watching. If you want to read all my book reviews, go to joesnotesblog.com. And if you want to buy Heretics of Dune, make sure to use my link in the description. Alright, that's going to do it. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Having it do it. Alright. So quiet in here. I like it.